COSATU says it remains aggrieved that little to no compensation has been made available for the loss of life in Marikana. A trade union federation expressed disappointment that culprits behind the murders remain at large and are yet to be held accountable. In 2019, Solly Phetoe, speaking on behalf of COSATU, said the federation was arranging for President Cyril Ramaphosa to visit the community of Marikana in October of that year. Solly Phetoe, the Deputy General Secretary of COSATU, joins us now to share his views on life after Marikana. Solly, good evening, and thank you very much for your time and for joining us tonight here on In Focus. The widows are still waiting for President Cyril Ramaphosa to go and at least address them, apologize if that needs what needs to happen, but certainly show that he acknowledges their pain. What has been the big stumbling block for the president to go to Marikana? I mean, the latest one is that he says when the situation is ready. What does when the situation is ready means?
Well, good evening, and my leader, and good evening to the listeners. But also, let me start firstly by, as the Federation, COSATU in South Africa will continue to send our message of condolences to the rest of the family, not only the 34, but the 44, which include the 10 first family that were killed before. But as you indicated, as a federation, I think we have been engaging the Office of the President, engaging with the Minister of Police. In 2019, in November, if you can recall, we convened a rally in Marikana jointly with the National Union of Mine Workers. At that time, we were planning to bring the president of the president of the ANC, who is the president of the country, for the apology that he has made publicly, and we wanted him to make that apology directly to the people of Marikana and the victims for what has happened, and just to convey that apology. Unfortunately, at that time, we were told that the people of Marikana are not ready to receive the president. Even this year, unfortunately, for the past 2 years, 2020 and 2021, we could not have an access to hold some rallies or powerful activities because of the COVID-19. This year, 2022, we had taken our National May Day rally to Rustenburg, and we had that approach also in our program for engaging the presidents so that we're able to take the president. Again, we're told that the people of Marikana are not ready to receive the president. But that issue as COSATU is a matter that we really we continue to discuss it with the Minister of Police. As I said, that in 2019 we did engage the Minister of Police and the Deputy Minister about this issue. So I think we agree with the people of Marikana, the families that have been affected, the victims, that there has not been any change in Marikana. In fact, the conditions of the people of Marikana, including workers, has been worsened. Yesterday, on Sunday, we had engagement, a panel discussion with the representative of trade unions, including the person representing the Sibanye. She was indicated to us from their side there's a huge improvement. And the question we ask, what improvement? Because when Sibanye took over from Lone Mill, more than 15 to 17,000 workers were retrenched. Workers were forced to take packages. So there's no improvement. If you have seen what is happening there, there's no development in relation to the conditions of the people there. There's no improvement in relation to the conditions of workers. People are still staying in the shacks, all those things. So we think that government and ourselves as trade union federations, including the unions that are recognized in the mine, I think we should stop about talking about this matter only in August. We must start engaging it on time every year until we make sure that workers achieved what they have demanded, including the community of Marikana get an improvement or better living conditions in that area.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the conversation you heard that I just had now with the lady from Sibanye Tapsile, who says through their Marikana Economic Renewal Project, for example, they are standing, waiting, and ready to bring in some of the services in terms of housing and accommodation for the mining community, should government, of course, fulfill its own obligation of declaring those particular areas townships. So we know what that will require. There needs to be park services that is put there and making sure that stands are demarcated and so on and so forth. So they are saying we are standing ready to come up with, for example, the employee home ownership schemes, collaboration with the Housing Development Agency, but we cannot move in right now until that area, Nkaneng in particular, is declared a township. So there is almost a delay that is happening on the government side, who is, of course, an ANC government, your alliance partners. What pressures are you putting there?
Well, I think that if that's what they are saying, you would ask what have they done, because when we engaged, in fact, I must start here that immediately after that, what has happened in Marikana, the Marikana massacre, there was a team that was established with the mining industry, employers, trade unions, in particular NUM and AMCO, Solidarity and WASA, where it was led, that task team was led by the former president or the former deputy president of the country, Comrade Kgalema. And one of the issues that was there was about that matter. So if it's true what they are saying, I think they should know where to talk to. But from our side, as I said, we have been engaging about the improvement of this matter. And I think that's why at the end of the day that in my beginning I said I do agree with the family or the family of the victims, including the community of Marikana, about the steady or the slowness of the improvement. But mining industry have their own responsibility in terms of social labor plan that they've got to do in terms of improving the conditions of the people around the Marikana. I mean, you have seen today in the celebration or the commemoration of the Marikana massacre, that land belongs to the traditional leaders of Bapuba Mukhali. Why are they not able to engage in the Bapuba Mukhali and leave government? Government will come after. I mean, they know very well that they are in the area that belongs to the traditional leaders, and they know their contact number. They are engaging with them in terms. I mean, go to Bapum for an example, and Sukhwela and Vonorpop, and ask yourself: is the mining industry playing a role in terms of the social labor plan to improve the condition of the people around that? It's not happening.
Yeah. So you're saying it's just lip service. I mean, they raised the issue of Bapo. They are engaging them. One of the coordinators, in fact, they were glad to announce that the revival of the trust that is being held by the chieftaincy and be controlled by the chief chieftaincy. There's the development trust that is looking at, for example, taking kids to school, paying for university fees, and other developmental activities in the area. They're saying they are directly involved.
Yeah, no, I think that's what I said. They are directly involved, but is a progress that they can be able to present it as evidence. That's why I was saying earlier on also, as I'm repeating myself, that I think that as the trade union federation, union that are organized, recognized in those mines, including government and the council of, the chamber of mine, which is the leaders of the mining industry around that area. We must start engaging at the level of national, led by the minister or the Department of Mineral Resources in relation to the improvement and the social labor plan of the community. But just to make it a scapegoat that we're waiting for traditional leaders, the trust fund and all those, is not going to help. Now, we're talking about 10 years. What have we done? All of us in those areas. You know that as trade union, we may have power to engage, but we have no power to implement.
How do we honor the memories of the 44, as you put it, who lost their life in Marikana in such a way that this tragedy does not happen again?
I think, as I said, Comrade Thabo, that honoring people without for an example, there is still communities that the victims that are still fighting for their compensation. When we met with the Minister of Police and the Deputy Minister, we're accompanied by the family of the first 10 that raises critical issues and allegations of corruption. Now, continuously commemorating the 44 death of the killing of those workers, for me, is painful. We are continuing to make those people to be heard every day without anything on the table, without confirming that this is what we're doing. I mean, for how long? It's almost 10 years. There's nothing that is happening there. So we would love that, as I said, let's put our egos outside and start focusing on the people that have been affected in that area of Marikana, and say, as leaders of the trade union movement, as government, as the business, and the mining industry, this is what we think it must happen. Right. And how much time do we give to ourselves in terms of dealing with those challenges? Unlike talking about lip service, unlike talking, come here to the media, in the television and speak about some of the issues. After, I can tell you, today is the 10th. By 12 o'clock is now, we're getting to the 11th. No one is going to speak about this matter again until next year, August. And it doesn't make sense for me. And this is what we raised in 2019. This is what we raised in 2019 when we convened that. We convened a big rally in Marikana jointly with the National Union of Mine Workers.
Appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. COSATU Deputy General Secretary, Solly Phetoe.